After implementing the 10 tips I'm going to reveal in this video, I guarantee you will be a better Smite player. Season 10 just released with a ton of new changes to the game, including a new map, new items, and a new god. If you are a new player or typically just play the other game modes, right now is the best time to get into Conquest because everybody is learning the new meta. I also included some advanced tips for the more experienced players that will definitely help you rank up. This first tip, in my opinion, is the single most important thing you can change to improve your awareness. If you're only going to listen to one tip I have for you, it should be this one. Move your map closer to the center of your screen. Map awareness in Smite is a huge deal. The map's default position forces you to take your attention away from the action. By moving your map closer to where your character is, you can quickly glance over without losing focus. You might even see important things through your peripheral vision, like people coming up from behind you. To do this, head into a game or jungle practice, and then go to your settings. Here you should see the HUD editor option. This is where I like to keep my map, but feel free to move it wherever feels comfortable. You can always change it later. I also recommend turning the opacity down so your map is transparent and you can still see things behind it. I guarantee if you make this change, you will notice an instant improvement in your awareness. Here's another quick tip that will significantly increase your awareness, but I felt was too small to have its own spot. Turn your game sound up. This will allow you to easily hear important details, like incoming global ults. You can even hear jungle camps being cleared from a pretty considerable distance. The next best thing you can do to quickly get better is change your casting mode. The default casting mode in Smite requires you to press the ability and then click your mouse to fire it. There are two other casting modes in the game which are both significantly better. Quick casting allows you to aim the ability when you press it, but it will fire as soon as you release the button. Instant casting fires the ability as soon as you press it. In my opinion, instant cast is by far the best of the three options. However, until you learn the distance and timing of abilities, I recommend choosing quick cast. Once you're comfortable with your character's kit, you can switch abilities over to instant cast individually through the skills menu in-game. Instant cast ensures your abilities are going off as fast as possible, which can help you aim more consistently. It also can help avoid circumstances where your ability gets interrupted since there is no delay. If you're wondering how you will aim since there's no indicator for the abilities, the best way is to go into your settings and turn on the distance line as well as the ground target. It takes some getting used to, but I promise you it is so much better, and I'm sure you will agree once you've given it some time. There are some abilities that are better left on quick casting. For example, Hu Yi's first ability, Ricochet, has a unique bouncing mechanic that can require extra time to aim properly. The third tip I have for you is very simple, but will definitely help you win more games. Stop flaming your teammates. Being toxic is not going to help them play better. You should just mute people if they are annoying. The best way to improve is to not expect anything from your team. Instead, focus on your own gameplay, what you could do better, and learning from your mistakes. Number 4. Improve your relic usage. Relics make a huge difference in how every Smite game plays out. One mistake I see often in new players is they hold onto their relics a lot and only use them for big abilities, like beadsing an Ares pull or aegising up a Poseidon ult. You will begin to get a feel for when you can hold onto your relics, but until then, don't be afraid of wasting them. Just use them and worry about if it was correct later. Another quick tip is to pre-beads crowd control. You don't have to wait till something hits you to use your relic. If you know they are going to throw an ability that will stop you from escaping or killing them, just use your beads in advance so you're already immune when the CC hits you. Tip 5. Don't worry about your KDA or post-game stats. Focusing on these may cause you to avoid opportunities that are good for your team. Sacrificing your life to win a teamfight or an objective is always worth it. However, just because a death was good for your team doesn't mean it was necessary. If you could have lived but messed up somehow, be critical of your mistake and learn from it. Continuing from the last tip, it's important to understand what a good trade actually is. As a basic example, a 1-for-1 trade can be worth if the enemy had a shutdown bounty or was doing more than you in fights. Similarly, a 2-for-1 trade can be bad if they killed the main player carrying your team. There are many factors to consider, and it takes time to learn what a good or bad trade is. This next tip is especially important for newer players. With 124 gods currently in the game, it can be overwhelming trying to learn all their abilities. What I'd recommend is to review one god's kit each time you play. It can be after you lose to them in lane, or any god that was hard for you to deal with in a match. This is something I did when I was new, and it really helps you to absorb all the information in an efficient way. Another benefit of this is that there are lots of characters in Smite who have extra effects on their abilities you might not notice just by seeing them in game. For a very basic example, look at Scylla's second ability, Crush. Just by being hit by it in game, you will notice that it slows and does a lot of damage. But when Scylla gets 5 points into this ability, it also reduces your magical protections by 15%. 8. Don't wait in base for gold. There's only 3 gold per second in Conquest. Even if you're just waiting 30 gold, that's an extra 10 seconds you could have spent doing something better. It might not seem like a lot, but small things add up quickly in Smite. Buy consumables and get back to farming. Of course, there are sometimes it might be better to wait a short while, like if you need a power spike before a big team fight. Things can always change situationally, but in general, it is not good to wait for gold. A massive tip I have for people really trying to improve is to analyze your own gameplay. Use a software such as OBS to record your gameplay and watch it back later. If you don't have the time to rewatch entire games, you can simply skip through to the parts where you died and see if you could have done anything better. The 10th and final tip for this video is simple in concept but can be very hard in practice. Stop tilting. Tilt causes you to play suboptimally, usually by being too aggressive or too passive. Your decision making is hindered, and you are going to play worse than if you weren't tilted, which can lead to loss streaks and serious frustration. If you're tilting, do your best to not start typing. This goes back to what I said before about not flaming your teammates. Venting your anger in game chat just makes you look bad and isn't going to help anyone. When the game is over, do not queue again, even if you won. I'm going to make a separate video about how to avoid tilting in Smite, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And that's it. If this video helped you at all, please subscribe and drop a like. That lets me know that you want to see more instructive content like this. I've got several videos in the works right now, but be sure to leave a comment if there's anything you want me to cover for the new season.